All right. Good evening, everybody. Everybody. I'm Monica Lamb, and I'll be your facilitator on this evening. And we'll get started with a few introductions, starting with myself. So I have a company called Lamb Professional Solutions, and I've actually been helping and training nonprofits and small businesses since 2006 with government certifications, nonprofit filings, um, compliance training, QuickBooks, payroll, reconciliations, and all of that great stuff that comes along with it. Have a little background in I had an educational background in accounting and all that great stuff. That's not what makes me who I am. What makes me who I am is actually getting boots on the ground with the businesses, learning from scratch, going through audits with DOL, with the Department of Revenue, the IRS, learning the best practices, learning what they're looking for, where they troubleshoot the businesses at, where you need to pay close attention to as it relates, majority of the time, fiscal management, but learning in this modern day, they're gonna also start to get into HR as it relates to policies and procedures. Cybersecurity is a big thing, but when most people think about it, they only think about it from the IT perspective. But what people are really after is your practices. How are you safeguarding your information, the financial data, data that's going to make or break you, um, as it relates to your money in the bank, your personal information, names, social security cards, birthdays, things of that nature. Things that people don't really pay attention to in business or think that it doesn't really matter. Nobody's really after that information, but they really are because they can duplicate who you are and make profit from it. And so, I had a workbook that I had started for grassroots organizations. And then I took a step back with it when I started taking the cybersecurity, because then I realized that risk management is super important, and risk management when it comes to grassroots nonprofits and small businesses and how they are as it relates to segregation of duties, who have access to certain information. Um, uh, if you notice a lot of the governmental website, there's huge changes as with the authentication, authorizations, things of that nature. So I've added some of those compliance opportunities in this workbook. So I should have it January 2026. And so I decided to kick this end of the year off. Ms. Lillian gave me a call, and I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. It's perfect timing for it. It's in the year. We get ready to get started for a new year. And a lot of people are doing business as usual. You're gonna have to put on the shelf because they're coming to see about nonprofits. And they're coming to see about nonprofits because they are thinking that nonprofits are aiding the politicians and money laundering, shifting money into their pockets through nonprofit organizations. So money that was probably set aside to come down into communities. Politicians are starting or they're affiliated with nonprofits and they're granting those nonprofits, but then they're paying the politicians. So they are scrubbing, they'll be scrubbing the nonprofit organizations as it relates to all of your compliance. And so this is why I'm here today. Make sure that you are aware of the minimum that you should be paying attention to in your organization, as well as that if you want to take advantage of the grants that are coming out with Richland County right now, that you know what they're looking for and that you can get those grant applications in by February the 3rd, right? And and that's me, and you don't have to take as long as I did, but a good 60 seconds, introduce who you are, tell us the name of your organization, and what your mission is or what you aim to do with your organization. And you can start from anywhere in the room, or you can be voluntold, which one you like. Okay, let's start here then.
Last in, first talk.
That's right.
Do it, don't do it.
Right now, my name is Deborah Littlejohn. I'm with them.
That's smart. All right.
Oh, did you need more than that?
Why
What are you asking for?
why are you here? You just Pastor told you to come.
Yeah,
He made you do it. All right. So then with that being said, we'll toss the ball to Pastor Smart then.
My name is Dennis Smart, and we have started an organization, What About Our Children? And it started by the way of us, the church, Coming Over Church of God, wanted to do some work in the community, and we linked up with E.E. Taylor Elementary School. And so for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been just working with the school, whatever they need that we can supply, we would do that. I think first of the year, last year, first of this year, I get a call from the principal, and she was kind of a little discouraged, and didn't really understand until I talked to her even more. And her kids wasn't reading at the level that they should be reading. And so we kind of thought, well, what can we do, And so then she said, and I didn't know this across the state of South Carolina, that if the students of the third grade level do not read at the third grade level, I guess it's a percentile that determines how many more prisons they're going to build in the future. And I was like, whoa. Then I said, well, what about our children? What are we doing personally as a congregation, me personally as a person? Am I taking too long?
No.
Okay.
I'll give you 10 more seconds. Yeah. It sounds good. We give 50 more seconds.
I know I'll pass it.
You took a part of hers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we decided, the congregation, we started a reading program, and we started I keep saying last year, but the first of the year, we were reading with them, online, and there was too many distractions, We got set up where we had about 10, 12 people. We go online once a week, and the kids go online, and we would read together. Then it was just too many distractions. So this year, starting school season, we decided to go in-house. And like I explained to my congregation, I said, God has opened the door for the church to get back into the schools. And I said, so we went in-house, and we're doing much better. And the curve for her school, is not failing. It's moving. The needle is moving because of prayer and what we're doing in the school. And the kids love to see, our tutors come in. They're excited, and excited about reading. And that's what we really want to do. We get them excited about reading.
Yeah.
So, and we like at the grassroots. This is our first year, and I told the congregation we need some funds. And I said, I'm a person. I don't beg people for money. I just don't. I figure God says what's in your hands, And I told them I only know 2 things: food and fashion. So they said, let's do a fashion show. So I have a degree in fashion merchandising, in design, fine art degree, and so we pulled a team of people together. And we put a team together, and we did a fashion show. But so we went on to make WALC a nonprofit organization. We made WALC a nonprofit organization. So Sister McBride got us in contact with Sister Lamb, and from there here we are.
Woo-hoo.
And, you know, and the program is going really well. My whole, my whole concept is to get all the churches involved.
Mm.
You know, I've patterned myself after Booker T. Washington, which him and
HBCUs.
little history. Booker T. Washington and Julius Rosenwald, who was the CEO of Sears and Roebuck back in 1910, 1912, 1901. They came together and they both decided that to better this nation, we have to educate our kids. So they took their finances and went to the suburbs, rural areas of the South and built schools. But they went to the church and they told the church, if y'all put up half,
Funded.
we'll put up half. And
I'm
they
a
built churches.
HBC graduate.
So
you
you
can
know
tell. I'm an HBCU graduate. I graduated from Voorhees University down in Denmark.
Yeah.
And let's get
And
right.
so-
It was our,
And so what caught my attention, I'm gonna land this plane. What caught my attention was that my mother went to a Rosenwald school. And her writing skills were impeccable. And then, I'm in South Carolina, they started talking about the Rosenwald school. And I'm like, wait a minute. Then I went online and Googled, and there are thousands of Rosenwald, 5,000 schools they did in about 4 or 5 years. And so my goal is to get the community back into the churches. And,
all right.
this church, I'm sorry, get the churches back into
Now, Pastor Smart took all of y'all's time, so y'all just say y'all name of y'all organization,
sorry.
okay? Just say who you are, just so people can be familiar and what organization you with.
WAOC, Pam Yellins. I'm Lady Cookie Doctor. My husband is a pastor of St. Paul Baptist Church in Hopkins. And we just started our organization, Old Blood Road Community Outreach Center.
Oh, Blood Road Community Outreach Center.
Yeah, and these are some of our subordinates.
Where have been working with you all, right? Oh, you were Pastor Smart.
My name is Deborah Rhodes, and I am the president and CEO of Kingdom Housing, Inc., which is a non-for-profit organization that supports and builds houses with comprehensive services for homeless and at-risk veterans.
Louis Maldonado, Kingdom House.
All right. All right. And for those who just came in, my name is Monica Lamb, and then we got Miss Lillian back there, and I know she's from Meraki Care. So everyone may not have a packet, but if you do have a packet, either you have one or your organization have one, right? So I just want to make sure everybody have the documentation that's in the packet so you can be familiar with it. The guidelines for South Carolina nonprofits, charitable organization. This document is actually 126-page document. I just didn't print 126 pages for everybody, but if you look it up online, this is a document that was put together by Ms. Liz Pearson. She's very thorough, real good at what she does. If you ever get the opportunity, you can download it or you can print it for your organization, put it in a binder. It has everything you need to know about nonprofits. So if you could get anything I say today, this is a really good resource for you. And like I said, it's 126 pages, so I didn't print for everybody, but I wanted to make sure that you had the name of it, you knew what it is. Also, I've given you in the organizational documents, charitable registration, why, and the calendar. The most important piece of this 2-page document is that it has the dates and the deadlines for you. And I'm just sharing what's in your packet. So when I go through the PowerPoint, you'll know you have it, and then you can actually put your notes on it. Oh, I forgot I had the mic.
If anybody needs a task.
Okay. The most important piece about this packet, it has the deadlines for the compliance, but I'm gonna go through that as well when I'm going through it. I've also given you a mileage report. I've given you a sample nonprofit operating budget template, I've given you a grant tracker template. I've given you a purchase voucher template, and I'm gonna go through all these and why they're important as well. And then I've given you a sample document of a donation acknowledgement letter, cash receipt donation letter, in-kind donation letter, volunteer donation letter, and a grant acknowledgement letter, and all those acknowledgement letters. And I'll be going through those and tell you what it means. And I gave you those samples so that you can have at your exposure. Because all of those are important and they get left out. Nonprofits get funding and they forget all about why they are needed. So the first thing I want to share with you is the tax exempt checklist. So many of you who've already started your nonprofit organization, if you have these documents, you put a check in it. If you don't have them, leave them blank. And then at some point, we'll talk about how you can get in compliance and make sure that you get these items. And so I'll give a description of each one and share why they are necessary. So we have the recognized tax exemption. That's the 1023, and that's the document that is completed so that you can get your 501c3. So everyone who's affiliated with an organization, if you didn't bring it with you, you should have a letter of determination from the IRS. Yay, you got it? No, you don't. This is for your organization. So it has your organization name on it. You should have received one. If you filed the nonprofit, then you should have one. If I filed it, you got one. If someone else filed it, you've had your nonprofit for a while, you will have your own, right? The reason I gave you this folder, I was gonna give y'all some high speed binders, but I figured I was gonna end up with more than what I thought I was gonna end up, and then someone was gonna say they didn't get one. So I gave y'all little plastic ones. But the reason I gave you this is so that you can understand that the documents that I'm listing here needs to go in one binder by itself. You will always need those documents when you're a nonprofit organization. Not so much when you're a for-profit, because when you apply for things as a for-profit, they may not ask you for these. But if you're a nonprofit and you're filing for a grant, you're trying to get sponsorships, you're in-kind donations of any sort, they will be looking for these documents. And that first document, recognized tax exempt document, that's the actual letter of determination that you get from the IRS stating that you are authorized to do business in the United States, right? The EIN number, yes, sir.
That is in the folder.
No, because what's in the folder are sample documents. These documents is what you should, yeah, and you go in your folder. Because when you filed your nonprofit organization, this is what you would have received. You either got it in the mail, you can download it now. That the 1023 recognized tax exempt, the letter of determination, you can go to the, if you Google 501c3 lookup, 501c3 lookup, and put in your EIN number, that document, especially if you were awarded your nonprofit status within the last 5 years or so, maybe 10, that document is on the website. Now, what's different in latter part of 2025, 2026 coming in, is that if you're going after any sponsorships or any grants of some sort, they'll try to trick you up and tell you they need, I think it's a 147C or something of that nature. It's the same document. The reason they're asking you for it is because many people are not following their 990s and they are revoked. But you may not have received the letter saying you're revoked yet, but on the system, they'll have a date saying you're revoked. So what grantors are doing, they're asking you for, I want to say it's the 147C, which is the letter of determination. And the reason they're asking you for it from the IRS with a date within, I think it's like 60 days or 90 days or a year, is because they want to make sure that you know that you need to determine whether or not you're in compliance. Some people will be, some people will not. Now, how do you get out of compliance? you're supposed to file a 990 consecutively for 3 years. If you did not, you missed all 3 years, you'll be revoked by the next year, the spring, if not earlier, right? Some people, some organizations, maybe they overlooked it, but trust and believe, you would probably in line to be revoked. So if you've had your nonprofit for more than 3 years, then you need to be checking 501c3 lookup. If you have not had your nonprofit for 3 years, you have not filed the 990, you're kind of a little safe right now. If you have funding less than 50,000, you file a 990 in. It's a simple postcard, says you have less than $50,000. You put your EIN, you stamp it, and you keep pushing. Goes through. Now, here's the trouble with that. It's simple, it's easy, but it's not preferred. Why? Because when you have to file for the charitable, which is bam, the second one from the bottom with the Secretary of State, they're gonna ask you for, they're gonna say they do not accept 990 ends postcard. They're gonna ask you for either the annual filing, where you put your finances in, revenues, income, and you get all tripped up because you don't know what a fund asset is, and your fund balance is off, and they kick it back a million times, all that extra stuff. I done had it happen to me, so don't feel bad if it happens to you, right? You want to do a 990 EZ or 990 N. I mean 990. 990 is the long form. That means you're making a couple of bucks. You can't fill. You making over 50,000. You need to fill out the long form. 990 EZ. Maybe you making less than that. But the reason you want to fill out the 990 EZ because if you're filing for grants, they're gonna ask you for a 990 anyway. The annual filing won't work, even though it's acceptable, even though you can submit it. Save yourself a headache, do a 990 EZ. You can get your tax preparer, a CPA, or you can go to, and I'll bring it up later, 990 tax exempt, and you'll see it'll come up exempt 990 or tax exempt 990. It's a website, and it costs $199 to file. All 990s have to be submitted electronically. You can't get around it. You submit it in the mail, you're gonna get a penalty, and you're gonna owe them some money. If you submit your 990s late, you're gonna get a penalty, and you're gonna owe the IRS some money. So, tax exempt, 990 filing, those two go hand in hand.
And it has to be filed.
Electronically, yes. Right? So that 1023 letter of determination is the same thing. The EIN document, the difference between the tax exempt document and the EIN document, the EIN document says you're good to do business, taking money from the United States in the United States, right? So that's the number that identifies your business for the Department of Revenue, right? The tax exempt, it has that number on it, but it says that your business is authorized as a tax exempt organization. Means when someone donates money to you, they get tax exempt. To make it legal, that's why you have a tax exempt acknowledgement letter, right? You have an acknowledgement letter that deals with the money. You have an acknowledgement letter that deals with the volunteers, their time. You have an acknowledgement letter that deals with the grants. So the one that says grants is usually the ones who give a grant. The one that says in-kind donation, usually it's an individual person that's giving you money, and then the volunteers. So volunteers, the reason that's important, because if you volunteer with the organization, you can write off 14 cents a mile every time you do something for that organization. That acknowledgement letter proves from that organization that you did charitable work for that organization. Many people don't get them because they don't know about it, or they'll let that pass on your tax return, but trust me, it makes a difference when you file. It makes a huge difference, right? Articles of incorporation means you're authorized to do business in the state that you're physically located in. Some people are located in 2 states. That means they filed as a domestic organization in 1 state, and then the second state is a foreign organization. But in order to be legit, you have to be filed in both, right? So the articles of incorporation authorize you to do business in that state. When you file, or whoever filed for you, listed someone as a registered agent. That registered agent is who's getting your correspondence, documentation. If the Secretary of State has to reach out to you, that means it's going to that person. It's not going to you, the president. It's not going to your secretary. It's not, unless that's the name they put on it. Now, if I filed your documentation, 9 out of 10, I probably put the president on it. And so it's going to that person who's in that state, right? The 501c3 attachment, that goes with a part of your charitable registration. That's just let the state of South Carolina know that you are, if you haven't filed for your 501c3 already, or you're not, you haven't received the status, that you will be filing so that you don't have to go back. So before you would file it and then you have to go back and do the attachment. Now they have it all at the same time, so you don't have to do both. Board of directors, everybody should have at least 3, right? If you have more, that's fine, as long as you have at least 3. Now, the board of directors and the charitable registration, which is what you renew every year, you have to make sure that you're updating it. Even when you do your 990, that board goes on that 990, those names, right? So the IRS and the state, they should agree when you go in to change that document. And the only thing you do when you're filing your 990, always just make sure that when you're doing your minutes, your end of year minutes, that you update that list. Now, like I'm a part of the DAB, and so we update we have elections every year. And so 9 out of 10, someone is going to change on that board, if not everyone. So when we go to the bank every year, we have to take people off, add them on, and we just give them a list of our minutes and that new board, right? Some people, your board stay the same. Even if you have a board that's going to stay the same, you still need to have an election and just re-elect. Sign, update. At least once a year. Now, some people might do it twice. I mean, some people may do it every 2 years. Some people might do it every 5 years, but at least annually. So when you're doing your minutes, you should at least, we meet once a month, so we have minutes every month. Some people meet 4 times a year, the board. Some people meet every other month. Whatever you put in your bylaws is what you abide by. But if your board agreed to, right? Make sure you have minutes. You do minutes, you'll sign them, keep it on record. So you should have a binder or book that keeps those minutes. And don't overthink minutes. Minutes doesn't have to, if you're meeting minutes, doesn't have to be some drawn in our life. You have every dictated word somebody said. You know, the important things, right? Because who's ever doing that work, it's gonna get bad at y'all. The secretary's gonna get tired of typing. I'm telling you right now, I ain't doing this job no more. I'm the only person working. Everybody else just talking, boss me around. Same thing for that treasurer, right? Keep it simple. You know, if you're gonna come in and do business, do your minutes. Close it out. Then you can talk all you want after. You know, but keep business with business. Make sure, because you know, good people is hard to find. And so if you have secretaries now and they're doing those minutes, if you want to keep them, consider them and their time and the work it takes, the efforts. And then the bylaws. So I think I've given everybody a generic copy of bylaws. Some people may have already had their own bylaws. If you don't have a generic copy of bylaws, I can send you some after this. And then you just take them, add to, don't take away. Okay? You know, add your board to it, add when you meet. Now, some people like to get jazzy and they want to come up with all these different things they're going to do in their nonprofit. And then they sign. And then when it comes down to getting audited, they're not doing none of that. Probably doing one, if that, having the meetings, that's it. And then they get slapped on the hand. Because my pet peeve is when people say the government, I don't want a nonprofit because the government tell me what to do. Well, the government is only doing what you said you was going to do. And they're checking you. So it's called agreed upon procedures. If you put those procedures in place, I'm going to come check. If you're not doing them, blame yourself. So only do what's required. when you start adding all that extra stuff, we gonna meet twice a month. The executive board gonna meet before the regular meeting. Then the pastor gonna meet with the executive board. Now, all this extra stuff, guess what? You're gonna be authorized to do every little thing that you said. So if it's not realistic, don't put it down. Right. IRS, EIN, tax exempt, right? And in the state, the charity, and the artisan corporation. All of these documents should be in the Bible. When you file for any grant, they want to see them. The DUNS number, not authorized anymore, but if you start to do high caliber business, it doesn't hurt to get it as free. But it's not required anymore. We have something, they're doing something different. It's called UEI. Write that down because I should have had that up there. That's the SAM's registration. Usually people who are applying for local grants, state grants, and even sometimes corporate, they're actually for UEI, but that's your unique identifier. That's what the SAM's, SAM.gov registration. And you can't do the SAM's registration unless you have an EIN, letter of determination, Secretary of State. Name, address, and phone number always have to match. If you started your nonprofit and you moved locations and that address was there, you have to change it and you have to update it. You update SAMs every year. If you do, when you update, it's going to agree those documents. If something's out of whack, they're going to kick it back. Save yourself. One of the things you need to be doing at the end of the year, make sure you check your name, your address, and your email. Because those things matter, especially once you start getting into grants. Because they want to make sure you're in compliance. And it's also a weeding out mechanism because they know you don't check your paperwork. So they'll say you wasn't technically proficient, right? All right, some challenges of a nonprofit organization, the compliance requirements that distract you from your mission and your work. Everyone should have a clear mission that is simple, that you know that you can do it anytime. Now, what happens with your mission is that may be an opportunity for a grant, and at Pastor Smart, their organization is What About Our Children? And so he can use that or their mission because it's more community-based on practically almost any grant. It's not finance specific. Ooh, that's not good. Hold on. Charge it. He can use it for any grant, right? But let's say your nonprofit, his nonprofit was for financial literacy for your children. Yeah, got it right here. Thank you. For the children. And there was a grant out for literacy. Then he would have to explain how, maybe they say financial literacy, if he said it, right? He'd be like, oh man, I can't get the grant because my mission, now your mission don't match the cause, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why sometimes you want to keep it broad, especially when you get into a whole different bunch of community type things. You want to make sure, and some people, they get distracted because they go after the bag based on what's available. But that was something that should have been thought about before you put your mission together. Unclear strategies and direction, limited financial systems, fundraising challenges, difficulty, measuring impact. So I have some cool little savvy things that's going to help you through this. The strategy with the end of the year, perfect timing. So when you get back with your group, you should be coming up with a strategy that covers the entire year, not a strategy that covers the month. And then in March, you have to come up with something else. And then in June, you're looking for something else. At a minimum, your strategy should be including the fundraising efforts. Fundraising efforts should be small, medium, and large. Your fundraising efforts is what's going to sustain your organization. Grants are there to give you that cushion that makes way for your fundraising efforts, right? If you rely on your grants to cover your organization and those grants go away, like what happened this year, the shutdown, the big beautiful bill, the change in administration, right? People went crazy. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get this grant funding? And not grassroots, you talking universities, you know, other larger nonprofit organizations. So you know if they weren't getting no funding, you weren't getting none, right? And so it just rocked the world. Whereas the grant should be, it's like an advertiser or it's like a dessert, something extra. You don't have to have it with your main course, right? But your fundraising efforts is what's going to sustain you. So a lot of people are starting nonprofits and they're offering a lot of free services. Everything cannot be free. If you offer it free, you better be selling some food, or you better be selling some water, or you better be selling some t-shirts, you better be selling something, right? Because how are you going to sustain? Because here's what happens. So I was at an arts workshop and I had to do a one-on-one coaching session, and the organization that I was representing, pretty good funding base, but that also goes along with the strategy. There's no full-time, no part-time staff. So when you think about nonprofit, you think about capacity building. Volunteers is cool, but at some point, your capacity building, you need to be building staff. 2, 3, 1, somebody. And the hang up for a nonprofit becomes, why she getting paid? I ain't getting paid. Okay, help us raise some money then. Everybody get paid, right? But you gotta start it, because how are you gonna ask for $1 million if you don't have no full-time staff? That's fiscally totally out of whack. Because who's gonna manage that $1 million? Not gonna work. Somebody has to be trained, somebody has to be on staff, somebody at some point you should be growing into that. Maybe this year we're all volunteers. Next year we look for a capacity building grant. They help us pay but you look for capacity building grant that helps you pay. And guess what? Along with that should be some fundraising efforts. Either I'm building a staff to learn fundraising so that we can make money, meaning I'm sending them to training, I'm sending them to financial management, fiscal management, everything. How do we make money? They're connecting with donors, people who could. So when you see these larger organizations out here and they're doing these, they call these dinner, Trump building the whole ballroom. He's not just building for that, he's building that for the big ticket donors to come in and give up that money. Same thing for your organization. So when you got this nice space, should be opportunity, invite the people who gonna write a check out. Nice little dinner, little music, tell them what you're doing in the community. They say, oh, here you go, here's $1,000. Here you go, here's $200. Here you go, here's $100. I know we get hung up on it, but you have to do it because that's where your money is coming from. You want to get money from these corporations out here, invite them out. Let them know what you're doing. They can write a check to you. Scott Motors, and all these big folks that's coming out blowing. There's a whole lot of folks out here that's writing checks. And they say black folks don't get because they don't ask. Pretty much. So your strategy, how are you coming up with, talk about the money first. Because I'm sick of dealing with organizations and they talk about the mission, but nobody talking about the money. Who will pay for it? They didn't give you tithes and offerings now. We ain't got nothing for the children. Because I done already donated to you. That's how we think, Pastor. I'm sorry. We like, hold on, nah, just give you a check. You need 10%. What's an extra $100? What you want? We got $5 today. Sorry. So now you gotta talk about this money. You talk about the money by putting the budget together. It doesn't mean to come out of your pocket. You say, this is what I desire. This is what I'm expecting. It's all strategy. It's a strategy. But if you never talk about it, then you just think about, oh man, okay, we're going to put this reading program together. I had to drive all the way over there. Then I got to go all the way back to work. And who's going to pay for my gas? And he didn't even talk about nothing about no gas money. Such say she got a check last week. I ain't get no check yet. That's how people think. So what you want to do, you budget it in, travel. So many miles for a person. It's 70 cents a mile now. Strategy. All about strategy. Your financial systems, we get into that. Fundraising challenges. The only reason it's a challenge is because you're not used to it. We're used to giving things away for free. People gonna come if I feed them. Well, if I feed you, you need to put something in a donation cup at some point. Once a year, half a year, something. Like I can't just keep doing it unless we borrow. Right? But then if you want them to donate to you, you gotta give them some quality. You gotta give them some professionals. Miss Lily will be hooking y'all up. Y'all got good advertising. That is not me. That's Moroccan Care. Okay. She be hooking it up. All right. So we work together. Or whatnot. So you go somewhere really nice, people feel warm, they feel fuzzy. She hook them up with a snack, give you some juice, got some food for you. That's high calorie. That's what you want. You want the people to feel nice. Okay, you need a donation? Here you go. You know, I got you. See the bike in the front? It's high caliber. I need a donation bike. People come, you need some bikes for me. It's Kingdom Housing. You hook them up. But that's when you're showing appreciation. So people will, trust me, people are looking for different people to donate to, but we're not asking.
That's true.
And Monique, that's what you're doing with the bikes now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wait until the end, because I know I have a scholarship and I have a bike donation. And I do a women's event. So I don't bother my friends at all. But they know when they see them flyers pop, oh boy, okay, she need a donation. And that cash out be popping. But I've been doing it for a while because I was like, okay, I'll come over there and help you with your business. But I have a scholarship. I have some children I need to take care of. And I have some vets I got to take care of. So when I'm not going to bother you all year, but now I'm on the level of I need to be talking to these corporations. So we need some big dollars. We got some big fish to fry. We got whole houses that look. They're like, well, we have children over here. I'm like, I only got 10 bikes. Got about 100 kids over there. So I got to step my game up and whatnot. But you only do that when you put that budget down and you're not afraid to put that budget down. And the budget just means that this is what you're inspired to get. So when you go after your donors and they ask you, you don't say, well, no, you say, here's my adopted budget for the year. You say, you know what? I can help you with this part. Or I can help you with this part. Or hey, how about I sponsor this and I got some more to give? But these are the challenges. And I don't know why they're challenges, but they are. And the measuring impact, I'm going to give you something for that. But once you get this down, your strategy and that financial piece, and you're not afraid. Well, Pastor Smart came out the gate with that fashion show. And the sponsor letter, I said, oh, he jazzy with it. Okay. We'll see how this is going to work out for him. In South Carolina, in Columbia, they don't like to pay for nothing. Okay. Man, I walked in that bit. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, Pastor Smart got some credibility out here. Somebody like him. Somebody like him. Because I was like, whoa, I was impressed. Because usually, someone say fun, they know it's a fundraiser, and I was like, oh, he got vendors. Okay, you're a little smart. The vendors pay for the venue. I know how it worked. I know how it worked now. I know how it worked. And the quality was up there. So I was like, oh, this is easier Colonial life. Big time. When you scale it up, now you're going for the big dogs up here. You got SCAD out there. You got the universities. And so where people are, the children are, people are. The guy used to do Sheen Magazine used to do the Medallion Center, and how he used to get us, if you wanted to perform, you had to sell $300 worth of tickets. You would have thought that was hard to do. Everybody want to perform because they know that building gonna be packed. Because where the kids performing, the parents are, and all of us was in the building. Oh my God, I used to be like, how does he do that? But he found a niche. Same thing, too easy. Now you're making your own money. Not a grant, hospitality grant, a tax grant, easy. You already created a track record. You got pictures to show proof. Now you can pull in people from other places. You can show their tourism, easy. Put a theme to it. You can even go after the 250. Easy work, easy work, easy work, right? So it's not a challenge. It's only a challenge if you don't do it. So we talked about these compliant documents. So one of the documents in your packet, I gave my packet away. The packet that's in your packet that has the dates on it, the document that has the dates on it, that needs to be in the front of your folder. If you have a Gmail account, oh, it's in my hand. I'm gonna grab it. This one. This needs to be in the front of your folder. Your state filings, your board meetings. This is just a sample. You probably do yours in January or maybe December. Your filings, because these dates are important. These dates are super important. What's not on here is your charitable. Oh no, it is on there. Okay, yeah. Sam's is not on here. These dates are important. Now it's broken down by responsible party. But trust but verify. Nobody should be letting one person do the documentation if you haven't laid your eyes on it first, or the board. So a nonprofit organization is governed by members, not an individual, right? And so the board members should be state. So your end of year documents, right now you should be getting ready to file your 99s. You should be having your charitable registration filing, those renewals, right? So the board, y'all should have looked at them. Have your financials together. If you don't, I'll give you a template already. You can put that together very easily. And doing your filings. And so by January, the reason you want to be doing it, because if you're going to file for that Richland County grant, guess what? They won't want that 990. Period. They're going to want to make sure you have that charitable registration letter. Yes, ma'am.
But you gotta be a year old for that.
You got to be a year old, but you can still file it.
The 990.
Yes, if you want to apply for that grant, you can still file it.
Oh,
Yeah. You just be ahead of the game a little bit, right? Because it's going to ask you for the 990. It's going to ask you for the charity registration documents that say that you're authorized as a charity. Those are the two documents, and it's also going to ask you for two partnership letters, right? So if you're not partnering with anybody or any organizations, then you got a bunch of here, y'all partner together. Just need two letters to file that, right? That's going to be super important. You want to put the dates of your filings, put them in your Gmail, and put them in your Gmail, and then make sure that your Gmail you put like a date, so there's a future date. So let's say if you're going to file, let's say if you're going to file your stuff is due December the 30th, right? So you know December 30th coming up for 2025, but you put December 30th, 2026 for next year. But if it's due on the 30th, I will put like November the 30th. That gives you 30 days. Because that notification is gonna pop up. So all your dates, because they're not gonna ask you, and the Secretary of State is not playing, they will charge you $2,000. And it takes an act of Congress for them to lower that amount if you do not file on time. Because they give you an extra 4 months to get in, and they'll send you emails. But like I said, whoever put your paperwork together, who's up on your documents, is where those emails are going. So if you haven't followed up, you'll miss it. We talked about those. All right. So who all in here have accounting systems? Who's operating on QuickBooks? Who's doing spreadsheets? Who's doing pen and ink? What you got?
My business, I have to use QuickBooks.
QuickBooks? Anybody's operating the nonprofits. So no nonprofits in here. Everybody getting money and nobody got an accounting system. Okay, so you gotta get there. Got bank account? A bank account, right? So if you start making money, then that means you're doing Excel spreadsheets for your finance report. That's cool if you are, right? That's cool if you are. But in that Excel spreadsheet, you should still be able to produce a profit and loss, right? income statement and the balance sheet, and that's fine. You can. Once them dollars start creeping up, you want to get an accounting system of some sort. I favor QuickBooks for my own personal reasons, not unless I don't really favor the rest. Mileage.
That's everything.
Yeah.
That's why.
Does everything for you. Yes. And you can upload those receipts, and put that stuff where you need it to be, but you do have to check it, especially when it comes to reconciliations. You have to check it, right? You definitely want to make sure you're getting the finance system. I gave you a document that tracks grants. One of those documents in there should say grant tracker in your folder. That's important. Also a donor tracker. That's important because at the end of the year, you have to send those acknowledgement letters. All of those are inspectable items. Pull out okay, so your grant fundraiser map. So when you get your funding, you have to be able to break those funds down because you're gonna drive your tax preparer crazy if you don't break it down. You have your foundation funds, individual funds, corporate funds, and then you have your fundraiser funds. All of this is on your 990. You want to be able to break your money down. If all your money is donor funds, that's cool. Then dogs on the donor. If your money is all grants, then that's fine as well. It's all grants. If it's all fundraising, that's fine. It's all fundraising, right? But you want to make sure that you can break that down in that manner on your financial statement. Because you need to know, because some money, like I did with one organization, they got grant money, they got donor money, they got volunteer money, they got all types of money. So I had to have a spreadsheet for each part. And then each grant has certain documents that they have to give at the end of the year to do the final reports. So you have to track them separately, have to have separate folders. Some people keep all of their money together. Some people will separate by accounts. If you're getting federal money, county money, state money, you want to get separate accounts. Don't mix it all together. Right? Now, your board. You want to make sure your board staying educated. Who's ever dealing with certain aspect of the organization, cross-training is great. You want to make sure everybody understands everything. You don't have to be an expert, but you need to understand it because all of you are responsible. If you are on a board, all of you are responsible, right? So if there's some fiscal mismanagement going on, guess what? They're gonna come see that board because guess who meets every month? Guess who signs the minutes or voting yeah, nay. They're gonna come there and see about you all, right? You may not be to the capacity of this extent, marketing, outreach, but you're doing it in some respect. So even if you have a group and there's only 6 of you, give each of you those responsibilities. And even if you're doing it at a bare minimum, give each of you those responsibilities, right? So that when it comes down to it, when you have your meetings, you're not having your meetings with all your job titles at once. That's exhausting. Maybe you have a meeting you have your board meeting, and that's just a summary of everything. And then if I need to talk about grants, Richland County grant coming up, I need to have a grant meeting. All we talking about is this grant application. Don't come in here about what the kids did last week. Don't come in here talking about such and such in order to supplies. The only thing I need to talk about is this grant. The reason is because the grantor knows how much time you're putting into your efforts. Trust me, they know. Because it reflects in your application. And when you're doing these grants, they're looking for segregation of duties. They're looking for, when they look at your budget, if your budgets they just look like total dollars, they know you didn't do your homework. Especially when you talk about supplies, especially when you start talking about different, especially if you're paying somebody has payroll taxes in there, they know you did not do your homework because that stuff is not to the total dollar. Nothing ends in zero. It's easy. Go online, go to Walmart, find out what you're trying to buy, put a summary together, put the dollar amount, and keep it pushing, right? They know you're not doing that because you have to break this stuff down. Recruiting volunteers, you have your core group, and you have your volunteers. Your volunteers and your core group is not in the same meetings when you're talking about behind the scenes, especially when you're talking about fiscal dollars. Right? You'll throw all your business on the street. But they didn't sign out one document, so of I pledge the confidentiality, non-disclosure. Okay, so you want to keep them separate, but in the same sense, there are some people that will volunteer that don't want to be on your board. That's a good thing. It's always that group out there. Treat them right. Always have something for them because they're gonna have your back. There's the person that's gonna do the busy work out in those streets. Training. There's so much. Nonprofit training, business training, scores, City of Columbia business opportunity, technical assistance training. Somebody has to be in those spaces at some point because there's always a change. Richland County hit us with a good change, nonprofits. We're so used to using those recreational facilities and they came in and then boom, now you have to have insurance. Now you have to have this, you have to have that. And just threw people totally off because a lot of nonprofits don't have what? Insurance. So now you gotta go like, oh man, I can't put it under my name. I gotta get such. Oh, I can't get it under this person's name. They ain't got it either. Oh my God. So we gotta go pay for insurance. Yes, they put liabilities on you. Why? Because they don't want you to have the nonprofit. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Put your fundraising stuff together and figure out how you're gonna pay for it. You may not have permanent staff, but there's some things that you have to have. And you're going to have to pay for because if you don't, you're not going to get these grants. That's just the way it is. Don't get mad. Just go and try to figure out a way to do it. Some people don't have paid boards that have membership, and that's cool. But maybe that's something that, okay, y'all, we might have to give $5 a month. Pay this insurance. We're not going to qualify for Richland County if we don't have this insurance. Those are things you have to have. That's probably the only and your $9.90, $200, $58 for the charitable registration. Those are automatic. And your $9.90 for the IRS, the charity registration. I think it's like $51.85, Jackie? $51.85? $51.85 for charity registration. $200, $199 and I think 80 some cents. So that's just $200 for the $9.90 filing. And then you may have to have some insurance, especially if you're working with kids. Background checks. Everybody put a group together. Nobody ran a background check. Such and such been doing such and such for a very long time. You look again, you had a problem. You're like, well, I thought.
So, speaking of that, we did the background check through the school district.
That's cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
so
didn't know if that would,
that's fine because they probably want to have their own, right?
okay,
So when you're in the school district, you good.
okay.
If you're doing something on your own, you're not good. Shouldn't have, you got to, but if everybody who did through the district doing your own, just want to make sure you got it, right? So if you're around people, whether they're adults or kids, that's another expense, right? $19.95 per person. Those expenses are expenses when you put them together. You say, okay, you guys, we're gonna run this nonprofit, but we have some hardcore expenses. They come out to about $300. There's 6 of us. Divide that out. How much that is a month? Okay, we can expend that. About $5 a month. Okay, I got you. And that covers you down. Now, at a minimum, you're in compliance. And so when you think about risk, you're not just thinking about it from people stealing. You're thinking about people harming people. It could be defamation of character. It could be somebody overheard something that they didn't think it was inappropriate. You look again, you're getting hit with a lawsuit. You're like, oh man, what happened? I didn't even know. Oh my goodness. How much you got to pay? We don't have no money. If you have insurance, you're covered down. And speaking of that part, one of the things Pastor Lee has been having for a long time, but it just came in handy for us for these last couple of years, was Legal Shield. No, that's it right? Leadership, yeah, that little multi-level marketing. We had never used it the whole time I was working on Castle A since 2010. All of a sudden, boom, employee said he was too old. Thought we said he was too old to work. Hit with a lawsuit. Bam. It ain't going nowhere because we don't meet the requirements for it. But the point is to get a lawyer. So we just called Leadership. Boom, they took care of it. We got nothing to do. That's a subscription monthly. Those are the things you have to have unless you have a lawyer on your side. Like Jackie. She keep a lawyer in her pocket. Oh, I'm just gonna call it attorney such. Everybody has to have that person. If you don't have somebody on retainer, then that subscription. Those are hard expenses that you should be thinking about that you may have to have, right? To stay in compliance. I'll get to that one. Your mentor connections, your strategy build. Now, whatever you're doing, if you don't already have a mentor, someone who's already doing it, that's fine. Your strategy behind this is if you're dealing with kids, connect. If you're not already connected with the university, so right now the universities are looking for community organizations to work with. I think today was the day.
15.
Yeah, today was the day. But anyways, you can always connect with them. Connect with the universities. You got USC, Columbia College, Benedict, Allen, State right up the road, a whole bunch of other folks, right? Connect with the university for community engagement opportunities. That's where your grant bread and butter come through. Because if you have an audience, especially those who have congregations, if you have an audience, they're looking for an audience that they can't reach because they're not affiliated. But if you're doing something with education, reach out to those professors. Hey, I'd like to talk to you about what I have going on in my organization. You're looking for a community-based organization to work with for grants? Okay, let's talk. So when they write their grant, they write you in it. And they see some interns. Now, your connection with that professor gives you connection for Richland County. Because now it's not just you. Now you have some students you're working with. You have the school. That's important. That's a huge connection. You have to connect with academia to get high caliber grants or even corporate, right? Agencies. If there's agencies out there, not the United Way and Red Cross. There's some organizations that you may not be familiar with that deals with kids, but if you search organizations in Columbia that works with literacy for kids, or if you look at Department of Education's website and look at some of the little smaller grants, don't get discouraged on these $500, $2,500, $1,000 grants, right? Because these are opportunities to grow your grant past performance, right? So if you're working with a group of kids, so for example, you're working with a group of kids with literacy, and there is a mini grant out there for soil testing for kids, or greenhouse, or understanding how to grow a potato. I'm gonna teach them how to read this agriculture book on how to grow potatoes. Because you already got the students. You already connected with the school. Hey, principal such and such, there's an RFP out here, it's $2,500. Can I use the group of students that we're working with to
Kingdom Housing and they farm.
bam? So now you got what about our children, Kingdom Housing, and the farm. That's collaborative efforts, and that's a grant. That's how you gotta work that. When you come in as an individual organization, they're gonna see it's just you. Who else is benefiting? And what makes so the administration is not the best, but they're forcing you into what we already used to do, which is work together. You have to. If you don't work together, it's least likely than not we're gonna get that big opportunity. So working together is what's gonna pull in those funds for you, even on the local level. And you'll say, man, they're making us work hard for $10,000. Yeah, but 10,000 will open the door for more. Case in point, when Representative Johnson had, before he became Big Dog, he was Jermaine Johnson. He had new economic beginnings for reentry. He put together an 8-week class to teach people who was recently incarcerated. And he would have 5 to 8 students that would come in twice a year. Then he stopped teaching. Shanice and I started teaching. Then he took it from there. We got the $10,000 Richland County grant and paid Midlands Tech instructor to teach it. Got accredited, 2 years accreditation, right? Took that accreditation. They got CPE hours. That was a gateway for them to get into college. Then went and talked to all of the manufacturers who hire fellows. 1 slot, 2 slot, 1 slot, 2 slot. So when those guys got hired, created a staffing company. Now I'm doing workforce development, I'm staffing, and then that staffing, $1 per hour from each of those employees funded that organization. Big time. If you're working with teenagers and you can get them a job, staffing. It funds your organization. If you're real savvy, you got some truck drivers you know who know how to teach that CDL, staffing. Because people are more likely to get into trade skills when we have us getting them in the gate than the others. So you rally up all them little individuals who don't have a job, young adults and adults, and that portion of your organization. Let's take the fashion show for example. If you could get with designers and sewing companies, whoever, and bridge that gap for students, staffing. Makes sense, right? Same thing for teaching opportunities, gaining an opportunity to work with an organization to help a student, right? Same thing with veterans, right? If you can help a veteran get a job, not only did I house you, I also helped you get a job, I'm staffing you. And the reason he was successful with it because he paid the workman's comp for the company, and that was the biggest burden. And by paying that, it was like, oh shoot, you gonna cover our workman's comp for this knucklehead? Okay, you know, and boom, that money was flowing in. You will be surprised how that works, but none of it works unless you build the network. But you don't just build a network with you. You have to go see the agencies, academia, government agencies, larger corporations, and corporate. And just even if it's volunteer opportunities, because it's going to open the door for you, and you can get more money.
I say too, they can also with their representatives in their area too, they can let them know about grants available.
Right.
At your house and send it, yeah.
Right. So South Carolina has earmark grants, and so those earmarks last year they cut them out last year, right? I guess they may bring them back this year, and each representative and each county representative and city has a pot of money that they help nonprofits with, right? But in order to get that funds, you gotta make sure you have your proposals together, make sure you have your network together, talk to them, invite them out, talk to them about your program. And then they're either one or two things. They're likely to put you in the pot for funding, or they will connect you with someone else who has those funds and vouch for you. Those are opportunities as well. So really quick, your compliance checklist is you got your sheet when your documents is due. You got templates of your financial statements. You got a template of a budget. The guide I gave you for South Carolina and financial tools, that will be a thing. So real quick, I want to show you this. All right, can you all see this? This is called a logic model. This is a tool I picked up when EPA, you know, and this ain't borrowed from everybody. This is a tool I picked up from the technical assistance from when the EPA was doing their grant workshops. Now, the logic model. So when you put your company description together, when you go after this grant, Richland County, the section is gonna ask you for your description. In your description, after you say what your organization do and you give your mission, the next should be this logic model. Your inputs, who's gonna be doing how many people. So for example, I'll use Pastor Smart's activity because that's the quickest thing I can think of right now. Fashion, okay, I'm gonna go after the hospitality grant. I'm gonna do a fashion show. I'm gonna have, how many volunteers did you have? Watch me build it real quick. So someone write it out. So put inputs, 12 volunteers. How many vendors did you have? 10 vendors. How many models did you have? For 20 models. How many did you have a DJ? One DJ. Did you have a host? Yeah, two hosts. Did somebody write it?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody got to write it out. I was like, wait a minute, ain't nobody writing. Somebody got to write it out.
You want us to write it, I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, one person. I just need one person to write the inputs. And I got to repeat it in.
Input.
20 volunteers.
Wait a minute. Input. Got it.
20 volunteers. You had
Activities.
10 vendors, one DJ,
And one light, man.
one light
I'm
man.
putting all that in input.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 20 volunteers. That's all I
10,
got.
20 volunteers, 10
10
vendors,
vendors.
one DJ,
One DJ.
2 hostesses,
That's
12
right.
models,
20.
20 models,
20.
one light man.
One light.
Oh, registration person. How many people? There was 2.
Two.
2 registration folk.
So registration.
Then the food. Vendors,
Somebody served. How many?
4.
4 servers. That's all they made up
Okay.
to run that event. Okay, that's their inputs, right? Now, the activity was a fashion show.
Okay.
How long? How many hours?
About 8 hours.
So for fashion show, put 8 hours. All right. Yeah. Yep. Outputs. So your outputs would be what did you plan to accomplish from that?
To make awareness to the communities and to raise funds for
Awareness to the community.
about the reading literacy.
That give me a number. How many people participate in the fashion show?
Oh, how many?
Say it again. Tiffany.
Like people who came as consumers? Like,
Yeah.
230.
So out of 200, so 230 participants, 230. No, attendees. Attendees. 230 attendees. Age group.
From 9 to senior citizens.
So 9 years old to seniors for attendees, and your model's age group.
From 9 years old to
Yeah.
seniors.
Seniors and 9 years old, yeah. 9 years old to seniors. And your outcome was what you just said. Out of those 230, you wanted what was a percentage of individuals that was awareness of that you actually felt like you got it.
I would say about 95%.
So 95%. So yeah, 95% of the attendees are aware of the What About Our Children program.
I would say 100% because we had it in the fall.
You never get 100.
Can't do.
Somebody fell asleep. Somebody fell asleep. Somebody don't remember the name. Somebody don't know why they was there. Somebody came because somebody brought them with them. You go ask, did you attend? I got something with What About Our Children fashion show. When? Oh, that's what that was? Yeah, trust me, never get 100%. So Miss Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
so, we missed something. Oh, go back to outputs. The venue, how large was the venue? Inputs. How large was it?
Input.
How large was the venue? You remember the square foot of the building?
Huge.
We can make it up.
No.
Put,
It seated 500.
oh, okay, put, venue. 500 capacity.
So we had 250
Right.
of that.
Huh?
But he had 250.
Right,
Yeah,
but we're just saying what the input was, yeah, where you were, right?
I'm in.
So when you write the grant, so you see how we broke that out? That's what they're looking for. Who and where are you having this? Do you have enough staff to cover it? What exactly are you doing? What is this activity? Who's your target audience? And then what do you plan for them to get out of it, right? Now, if we actually expand that, so when you write that grant, that's what you write now. Now, if you expand that for hospitality, right, you would expand it under the outcomes for that target audience, you would list the zip codes, where you think these people are coming from.
And that's why you have a sign.
Right, that's why, and you have your sign-in sheet, that's gonna back you up. So where you think these people are coming from, and then, what does it ask you? Oh, what's the benefit to the community? And that should be in your outcomes, right? So now everything lines up. Now, if I follow that logic model, you're telling me, what are you using to be a part of that, to get it done? What are you actually doing? Who's doing it with you? And what do you expect to accomplish? Because if you just go and say, I'm gonna do a fashion show and I'm gonna have 12 models, they're gonna be like, okay. That happens in our description. But to enhance our description, it has to have a pathway, and that's your pathway. So always remember the logic model. Now, everybody knows everybody's using AI, right? If we took this and tossed that in, if we took a picture of that right now and put it in AI and say, create a grant for hospitality, Richard Crowley, it's gonna spit you out what you need.
Wow.
Now, what you need to do, you need to take it and you need to read through it. Y'all go through each part and then say, yep, I like this, I can do that, I can use this, I can take that. Now, and if you really want to get savvy, you take the county's website or the PDF of the grant guideline, you put it in the chat, you take your simple little write-up or the picture of what we just did and say, and then you take if you have a website already, but if you don't, you say, align this Richland County Guideline Hospitality Grant with this draft write-up and create and answer the questions for the hospitality grant. It's gonna give you what you need. Everybody should have a grant written by next week. Period. Only thing you probably don't have is your partnership. Yes, ma'am. Oh, go ahead, you know.
I was gonna say the purpose of a logic model, outside of being able to account for what you did, is to show growth and development, to be able to apply for bigger grants. And what sets you apart when you set a logic model is, can this be replicated in other communities or within other nonprofits? And when you can show that your strategy is replicatable, that's where you find your strength, and then that's where you apply for even larger grants, because you have qualifications and you're showing your work and you're growing and developing and building capacity.
Right. And when you try to measure it, you can measure it. That's why I say you can't do 100% because you gotta give yourself room to grow. So if you're at 100%, then where's the growth? You only can go to 100. I know y'all try to do 110 and 120. Y'all supermodels out here. Oh, now. You know, I call myself, I do the call center. 30 people, that's all I want. 70%, 30 people. I can do that. No problem. I got those 30 people. I partner with DSS, work experience. I said, I'm gonna use them because I know these people need a job. I'm gonna hook them up. I'm gonna pay them good. I ain't know they had some hidden motives for me too. Honey, they got that work experience. They quit. I end up with 10%. baby. Oh, I was like, what happened? But I didn't know my audience. I didn't know my demographic. I didn't know that they just joined the program, just get the money and they get out. I thought they wanted a job. Well, they told me they wanted a job. Yeah, right. They quit on me. So I failed according to my expectations. So now I was like, okay, well, that's not my audience. I gotta go figure one out. And the worst part about it was the guys stayed and the females quit. Oh, I was super mad about that. You know, because I couldn't keep the guys because they couldn't work because they had felonies. Oh, killed me. I was done. So for future opportunities, for me, I had to go figure it out and I had to make it work. And I never accomplished the mission because I couldn't get an audience. Why? Because the program that we were doing, it had a training piece, and then you work. Well, people couldn't wait 2 weeks to get paid, so I had to figure it out. So now I've learned if I had to do that all over again, I would try to seek funding opportunity, give them a stipend to hold them until they can work. So the program is good. You can pick your own hours, but you got to get there. And that's the part that I didn't do my research on. So when I was putting my program together, I should have thought it through that strategy, right? And that's what you have to think about. You have to think about the strategy and how you're going to work it out. And when it comes to grants, so this helps out a lot when it comes down to that. NAICS codes. Many people don't know who know the NAICS code. You should take that code. I put it on the paper. Look at that code on TV. That code, North American Industry Code. This is what identifies your services. NAICS. Yep. Look it up. NAICS code. People put a business together on the NAICS code, and then when they get asked, they just win you out. They say, "Oh, I got $100,000. I want to fund y'all right now. What's your NAICS code? I don't need to put it in." You be like, Next. These are things that's going to wean you out. Trust me. They're gonna put. Let me tell you, they've actually already started. They're gonna take all this money in front of y'all, but they know y'all not ready. They know you're not ready because they're gonna ask for stuff like this, and you're not gonna have it. So make sure you look it up. Make sure you get it as close as possible. It should probably be already on your document if I gave it back to you, written on there somewhere.
And Mo, can you just let them know you can have more than one
Yes.
NAICS code?
You got a primary, and then you can have a whole bunch, right? So, like I talked about, I offer the consulting piece, but I also have a NAICS code for their payroll piece, and have a NAICS code. And then I put forward, so anything my friend does, I do it. So I put all his NAICS code under mine. We're trying to get all the money, all kinds of ways. So I have about 4 or 5 of them. Copywriting, copyright. Intellectual property. You can copyright within the state, you can copyright within the U.S. government. I think the state is like $25 or something, right? Trademark. If your names are unique to you, trademark, copyright. People will take your name. If you have a name of your organization and it's not unique to you, you're not going to be able to use copyright or state copyright, right? Because it's not unique to you. You're not going to be able to trademark it either, right? Because it's not unique to you, unless somebody hasn't already done it, right? We was doing a video called Loving the Skin I'm In, and we had gotten it popular, it became popular. And right before we went to trademark it, the week before, somebody trademarked that name in up north. We were hot. We called them because we knew they took it, but it was too late.
They got to the
Yeah, they took the name. It's my friend's fault because she didn't trademark, she didn't copyright it, and we had to begin to be real popular, and they took it. And they took it the week when we was getting ready to do it. It's almost like somebody had a fly on the wall.
I'm sorry,
Can't do nothing
can
about
you
it.
search it?
You can search it all you want. You got to spend more money. You want to spend more money with your lawyer trying to get it back than you would let them have it.
And also, is
Yeah.
there a way, Mo, I don't know the technical part of it, but is there a way to make sure that when you file for your copyright or trademark that it includes anything that's similar to
Yes,
the name?
yes, it will show up.
Yes, so-
Colors and everything. All
So
that
she
shit
had in the skin I'm in, so in
Yeah.
the skin you're in
yeah,
falls under that same
falls under
trademark.
the same.
So you can't adjust the name just because.
Yep. it will show up.
Are you paying extra for that?
Oh.
Like if you're all the extra names that may fall under it?
No, they will ask you and you submit it. When you submit, you have to put it all on there.
Put everything in possible.
Yep.
That will even sound close to
That's the
your
truth.
name. Even if it doesn't end in the S, put it like
Yeah,
as
put
it
it.
ends in the S. Like anything you can possibly think of.
Yeah, and you put it on there and it will be there. The trademark, same thing. Secretary of State, if you plan on doing any business or doing some business in the state, this is real easy to get. It's procurementsc.gov. You do a vendor, get a vendor number for the state that authorizes you to get direct deposits through the state, right? That vendor number is like a 7,000 number. It's procurementsc.gov. procurementsc.gov. So when you're doing your invoices, you make sure you got that number on your invoice. The only number you don't want to put on your invoice is your EIN, because your EIN is like a social. Boy, when COVID happened, they hit us up, they hit the DAV up, used our EIN number, paid themselves $100,000. They did all that. They got COVID money and everything. So they didn't file their taxes. They sent us a letter and said we need to pay the taxes. And we was like, what are you talking about? They was like, well, yeah. I said, man, we don't have employees. This organization been in existence since 1932. We've never had an employee. And that's how we got out of it. I had to do a fraud. The person said they was getting $100,000. I said, we don't even get. We volunteers. All of us are volunteers. And I had to, when she looked us up, I said, I tried to tell you. But they got a hold to our EIN. And we wasn't checking for it, wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so do not post your EIN. Procurementsc.gov. That's your state number. You want to get paid direct deposits from the state. You also put your direct deposit in, and it will your direct deposit information into the website, and just leave it there stored. Whenever you never know, you may do business. You will notice a lot of the grants are turning into contractual services. But in order to get the money, you have to be on that website. I gotta show you one more thing. One more thing. Go to Google. 501c3 lookup. So when you go to the 501c3 lookup, right here, you just put in your EIN number. When you put your EIN number in, who knows their EIN number? Oh, yeah. Y'all fired. So fired.
It's 46 dash.
Okay. Tell me the name of your organization. Why am I thinking coming up? These straight tripping. 20269 6900. What's the name of your organization? Don't be scared.
Kingdom Housing Inc.
Okay, y'all scared like Kingdom Housing. Let's see. Now, I could have went right there in my email and got all these EINs. And y'all are telling me that y'all don't know. I'm very smart now. I email everything. What? Oh, I got it together, huh?
Yeah.
She in there somewhere. Let's see what comes up. What? She in there. It's just probably having a moment.
Is it money?
Maybe. They're having a little moment. There we go. Bam! Look at that.
Is that the right one? though?
Yep.
Is it anybody
Hopkins,
else?
South Carolina.
Oh,
That will be her. You know what that mean right here?
What that mean? I can't see from back here. I don't know what this is.
2021 Form 990.
What is that?
Tax year 2021 Form 990.
That's the last time.
That what?
That's the last time
Oh, that's not true.
I called somebody.
That's not true. I got paperwork.
But the question is how is it filed? Is it electronically? So what you can do is
Yes.
get on the phone with the IRS.
Yeah. Okay, so what it say?
The last year you filed was 2021.
You better get on the phone. Let me give you the number. Let me give you the number. You need to get on the phone.
Take
ASAP.
a picture of it with your phone.
Put 800
Oh
EIN number 800-829-4933 right
do
now.
it again.
That's the IRS number.
800.
800-829-4933. 4933.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
800.
Yeah. 829-4933. Yeah. 2021.
4933.
So now sometimes now remember I told you earlier that sometimes remember I told you it's 3 years and sometimes it just hasn't caught up. So you just need to do it like this. So call the IRS, find out when the latest, and then make sure. So sometimes they reject. Now I know 24 and 23 and 24, they added a procedure, a signing procedure, and they rejected people's 990s. You have to go back in, sign that document. So you can do it that way.
What else on there said about that?
That's it.
You got me up.
Hey, she ain't sleep no more, that's for sure. She woke up very fast. Hey, she woke up. Hey, I should have went that first. Yeah, I should have used that. I should have went that first. Everybody eyes got big. Like what? Like what?
What's that? What you say? Well, they laughing and stuff. This ain't
I know
funny.
this
What you
serious
say?
for you, I know.
Oh, I put the wrong. Well, I did put that in 2020. So
Oh, she
saying
wants somebody else trying
this.
to. Okay. Now, I don't even understand that because I just got something from that.
Now and look. So what I'm telling you, be frank, because I know
I'm very serious about
we
that.
filed
And what y'all say?
22.
See what I'm saying? And I know, right?
So that's why you gotta call
Right. See?
and make
Now
sure,
I'm there too.
yeah, that it's updated. That it's updated in there.
21 is a whole count of, yeah. More than one is a.
I gotta call my homie. Or whatnot.
Yeah, they sign it updated.
So you have to make sure.
Right, I'm gonna make sure.
You got called because sometimes now to make it easy, we can go to 990 and hit the enter button. And I ain't gonna drive y'all crazy, make y'all start panicking up in here.
Too late.
But it's always good to have your papers lined up with what they have online.
You better. You go to submit 990 in. I'm gonna show you how to
So
get out of
this is
jail-
why I'm asking
how to
that,
get
right?
that jail quick.
Because
now all the government sites you gotta have login.gov or ID me. So I'm gonna get on.
I don't wanna play no more.
She said I don't want to play no more. This is the last thing.
Come on, you in the game
I
now.
don't wanna play no more.
This is the last thing.
You in the game.
Now, the beauty of this is for you to know that going through workshops and things of that nature, all this stuff takes time. And to go through each document, it's gonna take time. Now, what's my password? Don't go beat nobody up. But honestly, though, you do need to go find out very
I'm about
quickly.
to step outside on my CCA right now.
I'm going right now.
Right now, I'm just telling it.
Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
sometimes you just gotta act dumb and go, I just wanna make sure I got everything right for y'all.
It's the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I just looked up and I saw my thing was 2001. Oh, Lord, what's my password? You have to call and you got to make sure, even when they file, even when it's filed, because the system will be like 2 years behind. But you got to make sure, because when you're going after grants, they're looking at this. These are technical. This will wean you out. When you go on. So usually when I file my 990, I'll wait like 30 days, then I call. Y'all sure y'all got it? Because I don't see it on the website. It's not updated. Yeah, we got it. Go back 6 months later. Hey, I still don't see it on the website. I'm trying to get this grant. This weans us out. Okay, there we go. And everything has to be I made you miss your food. Did you get you some food?
I'm good. I got some kids in my house. I gotta go home.
Uh-oh.
Gotta go home.
Let's see. So make sure you have your login.gov is going to be applicable to a person because it asks you for your social security number. So if I go in and manage my profiles, and so this is what you want to look for. As you can see, I do a whole bunch of people 990s. But
Excuse me, thank you for the class. We had an
Oh.
emergency, so
okay.
we have it. All right.
High five. Thank you for coming. Okay, I can't see mine. She said, "Oh no." But that's what you have to do. You have to get on. All right. So when I go into the account and I go in, I have to see, okay, I need to make sure all of these were accepted. So see how somebody's rejected. So I need to check that. And they ain't even looking. So I need to find out. So it may have been rejected. I know there was a form. Okay, that one's accepted. So everybody's accepted except for that one. And that's what you want to see. So who's ever doing it, you want to make sure when you go into the system, you want to see that those 990s have been accepted. Now I did these 990s on the IRS website. But there's some 990s that I did, and here's the website that you can know. So if you want to do your own 990, once you get it in one time, you're good. And it's called 990 tax exempt. It is. Hold on. Tax exempt. E-filing.
Yeah, I think,
I do this one right here. So it's tax990.com. If you're giving out if you're paying contractors more than $600, you got to do your 990s. And you can do those in Tax Bandit. Tax Bandit. BANDIT. Tax Bandit. Yeah, you could do those 990s really easy without trying to line the copy machine up with the red form and all this stuff. You can do it in there and they'll mail them out. They'll send them out for you. But 990 tax exempt, you can do your 990 in here. 990 in is like $12.85. On the IRS website, it's free. Well, you can do it in here and they'll send it for you. The easy, they'll send it for you. And then you can check as well. I've had that happen to me. $990 rejected. Lord, they tried to crucify me. She ain't doing that job. She ain't doing that job. But the IRS had changed the rule. So it used to be where you could mail them in, but now you have to do it electronically, and they're giving us a $13,000 penalty. But I just did a letter saying, hey, it's oversight. We didn't know the rules changed. Sent it in. They waived the penalty. Now we do it electronically, but as you can see, you have to go and check. Now, I know my 990s, Tri-City 990s get filed every year. I got the proof. They send me a letter to tell me when it's time to file, but the system's not updated. But if someone wanted to get
that
2022, but we
we
filed.
Twisted up and
So-
ready to call in the CPA.
Well, I'm gonna be calling too in a minute. Because I know they were filed. I got copies of the file. I submitted the file, but it's not on the system. Now I know I can pull up other organizations and theirs is on there for 2024. So I need to figure out where's my 23 and where's my 24, because I know the system is updated, because I know other nonprofits that are updated, because I have to check.
Right.
So sometimes, like I just looked and they rejected a 990 in for an organization. Now I got to go figure out what was the reject about. So they could have rejected, they could have filed it, they could have did the election. Same thing with your personal taxes. Somebody filed it, you go to look for the tax transcript, it's not there, it was rejected, the person never went back and checked because it doesn't give them a notification. So this is why you have to follow it. And the other place that you got to look for your organization is SCSO's charities website. Make sure you're not suspended or expired. Now,
Somebody else.
I have to make sure, I have to check and make sure that
As Kingdom Policy Inc.
I have,
Cedar Street Daycare.
I have to make sure that that's smart that you all are in for charity. I know you're in regular secretary. I have to make sure to put the charity in because you wasn't raising any money at that point yet.
You're talking about now with the Secretary of State.
Secretary of State, yeah, charity registration. So you go to online, you go to charities, and if it's not, then I'll put it in for you. You go to search all charity.
He's already filed that form with them or whatever?
Oh, if he's already filed, then he's probably in.
Oh, okay.
But didn't even know.
So how often do? when
They
does
should have
that
sent
do?
the letter. You want me to look you up?
Yeah.
What? What about? Don't be scared. What about our children? What about our children? There you go. Oh, you in there? You in here? You registered, and this is what's important. Now you're registered, so I think this will be the first year you're filing. So now what's going to happen? They should have sent you a letter already. If they haven't already sent you a letter, they're going to be looking for. So it's two things: you renew charitable, and you update your financials. So you should have gotten an email that said you need to upload your 990 in the system. So if you haven't filed the 990, this is where I was telling you they'll let you do an annual filing report. Annual finance report in place of it, right? And that form is on the website, and you upload it, and then they'll check it, make sure you're good, and then they'll give you. Then they'll say, okay, now you can renew, and then you go in and you do your renewal, pay your $51, and then they give you that letter. You use that letter to file for a grant, Richland County. And then when you go to Richland County website, you put in Richland County. Richland. Wait, y'all in the city? Wait, y'all in the city or the county? Some people in the city, some people in the county.
That's the city.
29229.
Well, 29229 is count.
Wait a minute.
County,
Well,
that's right. Yeah,
I'm in the
it's-
city. I'm in the city. Did you vote for the city people? The election for the mayor and all that good stuff? No?
Well,
Okay, then you're in the county. I have 29229 and I'm in the city. And I voted for them where I live.
Like the city council.
okay.
Yeah.
So the Richland County Yeah, that's how you kind of figure it out. So if you go to Richland County website, there's a bunch of grants out. They got the Community Impact Grant. And see, it's already out. It's due February 1st, 2026. When you pull these guidelines, everything I talked about here, they're going to be asking you for a copy of. But when you pull these guidelines for this grant, you want to make sure, when you pull this out, you want to make sure you print this and pay attention to what's not allowable right here, what you can't pay for. Can't tell people you be having a fundraiser project. Don't say that. Not a good idea. You know sometimes, but don't tell them. All right. They're not gonna pay for debt reduction, endowment, development, medical research, conference travels, conference underwriting, gift cards, awards, prizes. So this is where you would say, when you got to figure it out, okay, what can I pay for? Well, 9 out of 10, you didn't go to the grant workshop, so you can't ask them, right? Grant workshop was in November, no biggie, right? But they also tell you what's allowable. And this is what's allowable, right? So now that you know what's allowable, you say, okay, this is allowable. Then you write for that.
Excuse me, everyone.
Okay. So when you pull the grant, make sure that you when you pull it down. And now, if you want to get savvy with it, and I'll just show you how this works, just for the sake of showing you. I know I just heard. Okay. Just show you how this works real quick. And now you can be high speed. You can write your own. It's all good. Like Tiffany, she's high speed. She's a great writer. She's quick with it, right? However, if you just need just a little assistance, everybody, now and then, you can go to chat. You can say, hit that plus sign. You can pull up the you can go to your downloads. Oh, where'd it go? At least I thought I downloaded it. Hold up. Where'd it go? Show you how to. I'm not teaching you how to cheat. I'm just teaching you how to get some quick information. Tell nobody. Where'd it go? All right. I'm just gonna make. I didn't pull it, but I have to pull it because I needed to make a point. Where'd it go? I got too many things up. You saying? There we go. Don't tell nobody. I'm gonna save it. But if you do this, you gotta make sure you print it and retype it. Also, if you're gonna apply for those grants, whoever your county council person is, you need to be having conversations with them right now, so that they can know that you're gonna submit these grant for the grant, and they can, give you some pointers or two.
Emphasis on the retype.
Big emphasis.
Emphasis on retyping. If you're going to use an AI model program, do not copy and paste, because when you do, there's a watermark on that document.
It picks up.
They can run it through a program and see that you copied this from the AI model.
Yep.
So physically retype, add your own verbiage, add your own little je ne sais quoi to it to make sure it's separate from AI. And when they run it, they can't pick up on the fact that it's an AI model. Please, I beg you. No big.
Because we had to learn that the hard way.
I mean, I have
No, the world will tell you. They will tell you that don't use it. They'll tell you.
but I write it myself.
They'll tell you, not to, if you need a little help with, enhancing your descriptions and things of that nature and making sure that your grant aligns, there's a way to use your intellect. Oh, it doesn't want to do for me. Anyways, watch this. If I say draft a grant proposal for South Carolina, Richland County Community Impact Grant for a youth literacy program. It's gonna pull it. Right. Yeah. I think copy their website. Yeah, right. So now this is just an abbreviated way, but because I use this all the time, you would notice that it's gonna pull up my logic model for me because I'm always in it, and I always tell it to use the logic model to come up with my grant ideas, and then I'll take it, and nobody will ever use what somebody give them because you're gonna tailor it to what you're doing. But if I want to save some time, make sure that I'm in the ballpark of what I want to do, then I'll throw it in here, I'll let it create it, and then I'll take it out and I'll make it do what I want it to do. And so this is the part that I wanted you to really see how this timeline is important. When you're applying for those grants, especially with the county or with the government, you have to have a phase. You have to break it out in a timeline. They know what's a smart timeline. Can't be up here talking about you're going to do 100 people and you end up having 25. They're going to come see about you. Mm-hmm. They know what it takes to deal with 100 people. They know what it takes to put those. They know, and then if you're dealing with kids, they know how many people are allowed per child. See what makes sense? And so when it comes up like this, now I know. Now, mind you, we say we're going to do a youth literacy. We just get out there next month. We're doing youth literacy. But you have a planning phase, you have an implementation phase, and then you have an evaluation and follow-up phase. That's a whole year. So why are we over here taking a whole year trying to do the program? We didn't put no planning in there. We didn't put no follow-up. So how do you follow up? How do you know that your program was successful? This is what Tiffany was talking about earlier about when you want to scale up. How do you know you're successful when you didn't evaluate? It wasn't in your grant. There's no planning piece. So if you break it out that way, now sometimes people think that the planning piece may not get funded, which you will. Actually, that's what helps you because they know it takes time to have success. And so if you're doing a program right now and you're in the schools, you plan it just like the school. Your planning period is the summer. The implementation is the time they're in school. And then you plan again. Then you start again in January. And then you stop, and you have those breaks in between. And if you really want to get savvy, you don't go the whole school year. Maybe you go 90 days in the school year within it. You wait for them to start. You pick up in September. You end in November. You're out on break. Now you didn't wear your volunteers out. You give yourself time to take a break. Like the month of December, Tiffany will tell you. I told everybody, listen, don't call me. Won't break. I do. It's true. Because you have to have time to plan. You have to have to get yourself together. If you don't, guess what? Everything's going to run and you have no success. And so if you really want to get savvy, you want people to start funding you, start planning out that way. Remember I talked about Jermaine's program. He would only do it twice a year for 8 weeks. That's it. One in July, one in January. Start getting funding. Got accreditation. Now, you want to take it even farther, put your workbook together. If you're doing literacy, so Pastor Wade did this. He put a literacy book together called The Good Fella Caterpillar, because we partnered with Caterpillar. He put a quick little children's book together. Katasha illustrated it with the little caterpillar. It was the colors of Caterpillar Company. And Caterpillar, in return, their volunteers, they help fund the program for literacy. So they had the book, about 15 pages, no more than 15 pages. And when there was a little kitty toolkit. And so the volunteers came out, they taught the kids, they read, and then they taught them about the tools. And it was called Good Fellow Caterpillar. And so instead of using other people's book, then you create a color book or workbook around fashion. Now, not only are you teaching literacy, you're giving them an understanding of fashion design, graphic design, all of that good stuff. So now you're doing more than just literacy. Now you're doing so, and then it becomes capital for you because you can get the school to start purchasing the books. Woo! Economic development. Now we're making some money. Because now you can sell it, you can put your program together. We put the part I didn't say about Jermaine's program is that when we partner with PPP, probation, partner, and parole, they said this is how they wean us out. They said, "Oh, we want to give you some money, but do you have a workbook?" We don't have no workbook. We don't have no workbook. But I wasn't in the meeting. So when they came back and it was just a fuss, they won't give us the money for that workbook. I'm like, all you need is a workbook? Let me get them PowerPoints. This was before AI. Took the PowerPoints, put it in the workbook format. Shanisa took it, she created the teacher's manual, we put them together, we pressed them up, and all we needed was 2 books to show them. And once they gave us the money, we included the workbook and the teacher's manual in the cost. Plus it, yes. And so if you want to elevate, you want people to give you some money, have a workbook for your program. And you could create it, it could be super simple. So I have a workbook that I put together for my program. We just do a 4 weeks programs, little mini workbook. We got funded by Commissioner Blind to teach the blind how to do customer service. Remember, I wasn't successful with getting the people the job. So Commissioner Blind contracted with me and we taught them customer service. And I'm super savvy. So what I did was I went find a certification for customer service for a week. I included the cost in my program. I had them doing that for a week as part of my program, and they got nationally accredited. And then when Commissioner Brown found out what we were doing, because when they had the graduation, we gave them a certificate, and they was like, how did they get nationally certified? So it was like, oh, we included our program. So then they fired us, and they did it themselves. It happens, but you got to be ready for it, right? When you got a good idea, somebody gonna take it. Just be ready and move on to the next section.
I have a question about the creation.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So in the event that, let's say everybody on our team may not have that capability to create a workbook,
Mhm.
you know, we can use ChatGPT and do what you said.
Bam.
Can you find like a company that has this, that can do that for you?
Girl, you better call me and Tiffany.
I got it.
Say less.
And then
What?
watch y'all either.
There you go.
Do business with people that do business with you.
Say it again. Yeah. But let me tell you how simple it is. Watch this. I'm gonna make this real simple for you on how to do a workbook. Very, very, very simple to get started, right? Everybody in here is faith-based. Y'all have y'all favorite scriptures. That's the first part. You could be super simple and do a devotional, a youth devotional book. Take all your favorite scriptures, find an image you like on Google, or if you want somebody to draw it, that's fine. Or use Pastor Smart's art, put it in chat and say create a silhouette. No, I'm serious. I'm helping y'all with your intellectual property, right? He has beautiful silhouettes already out there. Oh, Pastor Smart.
Oh, okay.
Upload those silhouettes in chat, get a silhouette out of it, print them down. Now you have your favorite scripture, your silhouette, you have your little lines of comments, and you can create how many pages you want. You can say 20 pages. Now your literacy becomes that scripture reading. They can draw in color as an activity. And then you want them to write something, put them reading, what they learned, how does the scripture make them feel? You know, all that. You just created your own workbook. Doesn't have to be complicated. You want a devotional reading schedule. I'm gonna do a 12-book reading program. I have 12 scriptures that's gonna motivate them. I have a calendar and I have some artwork. The artwork is for their mental health. Kids get anxiety in school. So now I'm just not helping you read, I'm also helping you relax. I'm also helping you with your cognitive. So now when we come, now we're not just reading, I'm gonna introduce you to watercolors. Now you're gonna read this scripture, it's gonna feed you, edify your body. Then I'm gonna relax your mind through the watercolors, and then I'm gonna let you write on by. You're gonna come back with something written. Oh, we winning, y'all preaching, baby, y'all clapping. Now you just created a workbook. Now your mindset have gone to your father. And if I was doing it for farmers and the vets, same system.
Yeah.
We all should be treated like kids, trust me.
Yeah.
The reason I brought up watercolors, because I'm in it right now for mental health.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going crazy.
Right.
I'm not about to commit suicide. But they were stressing me out. They said, I got something for you. I'm gonna put you in watercolors. Oh, well, I'm not a draw. I just be in there, and Lord, if I show you my art, Lord. But I started off one way, and now I got all kind of cute colors. And every time somebody upset me, I take out my little pad and I just started drawing something. You know, I go look at a picture draw. So it's good. It'll teach the kids on how, you know, you can use your word to, if you know, your parents not bringing you to church all the time, your word to help with your reading. And then if you get stressed out, here's a cute little coloring activity for you, like enhance it. And people like that. Okay, why would I want to fund you? Everybody's going to read the program, but everybody's not doing a cognitive thinking program. Bam, walking. Yep. Bam. Now they want to pay for that. They won't pay for that devotion because now they're not just paying for them. They want it for themselves. Oh, I need that coloring book. Put it down. Or my friend did food. Gardening and veggies. She did food. And she did a whole bunch of pictures of just food. And she made a color book, put a name on it, did the silhouettes, and now she's selling on Amazon. Everybody bought it because they want to support it. And so with your program, you need to have a workbook of some sort. 15, 25 pages, and you own it. Use what you got. Use those scriptures because y'all trying to get the word back in school. What are some educational scriptures that will help someone think about what they're doing? After a while, those kids will carry that throughout their life. Same thing with the vets. Yep, if it's farming, create something as it relates to farming. Make it simple, make it easy readable. It's a workbook. I package it. Now I have something to offer. Now they want to fund you because now you done give them something that was other than just you showing up and reading. Because they're gonna tell you everybody does that, but what makes you different? Well, here's what I'm offering those kids. Ooh.
Excellent.
That's about $3,000 worth of info.
I know. Come on, girl.
Yeah. Right. The next time, if there is a next time, you break down those budgets and how to make that money work. If you're gonna apply for that Richland County grant, then you need to be talking in January. Because the budget matters and how you put that budget together. Right? It works. It works. Any questions? Oh, there's a people give you yours and I'll send it copies. Oh, you give me your phone. No, I'll send it to you. Let me see the notebook real quick. I need to see the page. No, I just want to see the page. This page right here. So one of the things we do in the vets, one of the things the vets do that I think is really interesting that I don't see many nonprofits do, when they make a purchase, they have a purchase sheet, right? But they color them. So they have one for purchases and one for expenses and one for income. And it's colored. So we got blue and gold. So all of the blue with the receipts and letters or whatever signed is dated treasurer and the president, right? And then all of the gold, expenses go out, somebody has an item with the secretary, the treasurer, whomever, and the president signed. So when you put that together and you do reconciliations at the end of the month, you have all your documents. You have your gold documents, blue documents. Sometimes you're gonna have nothing for the month, but you're tracking. And so it's a good, in your checks, you should always have two signers. for checks and balances. Always have 2 times, and then one plus the office. And so I think I gave you all the templates that you can use, and I have all of this electronically, and if you want them, I'll send it to you all. Okay, that's, right? Good. And it gets better. But that's the preliminary. So now once you start writing and all that stuff, it's a quick
Well, about my head is.
somebody else will think for you. So who, she's your treasurer, secretary?
Secretary, maybe.
Okay, so, okay, the secretary got it. And you all over, oh, you remember?
No.
Yeah, I remember. With Pastor Smart? Yeah. Okay, Pastor Smart brought the team. And who are you all with again?
OBRC. Old Love Road.
Oh, Miss
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, we was there.
Okay, and then Kingdom Housing. Okay, and Meraki Care. So we literally got to be so she'll be like that. Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about that.
yeah.
But I have
Make-
some,
So, yeah, she got food back there.
yeah, I have soup and, if
Yeah.
you don't want to eat, I just brought these out, I'm gonna put you something.
Yeah.
Take it into.
So make sure, so if y'all got any grant money, make sure y'all send them an acknowledgement letters out. It's just like any of your statements in church. Send them acknowledgement, people gonna be wanting to file their taxes, and don't forget to file yours. Charitable amounts. 14 cents, is that it? Get you some food, Mr. Deleuze.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Great presentation as always.
I want to thank Monique.
Um,
Monique usually charge $100 per person. She was so gracious, whatever, so if anybody want to donate to her or get the thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, is auditing required? We need somebody to keep that documentation. We need somebody to go in and audit just to make sure they.
Do it within the house.
Okay, just have your document on file, okay.
Yeah. And if you want to do it.
I'm an auditor.
People,
I just wanna make sure.
people, you want to do it in-house, they only come, you know, $700,000 now. Remember, you said 300,000. Yeah. But I always tell people, I mean, audit, so that when you get to that point, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. I would do that, so people should be doing it now. Because the reconciliation is before you do a 990, you got to do it. I would find out how it's a business.
When did you graduate in 14?
Not, you was working? Oh, what is?
Yeah.
I was like,
Nine.
Yeah. I can cash out you.
What you got to
I will buy a bike for that.
Okay.
What you gonna? I'll give you this one back.
Okay.
I took the papers out.
Okay, it's like.
I'm like, go ahead. I was looking, where you ordered it? Where you ordered it? Where you ordered it?
Department of Computer Science. I work with. Yes, baby.
That's a Medicaid order.
Yeah, we do Medicaid. Well, we just do our agency, so we do
Oh, okay.
CMS, yeah.
I used to order things for rehab industry. They ordered it.
Okay. Born and raised.
I used to work for GCAS. Well, yeah, did.
Oh, yeah.
How long did you?
Okay.
Because I'm was in Oregon, so.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
What are you doing? I thought you know, you get some food. Yeah, please take that photo. Because look, some people.
Hello?
laugh
I
at
got
me, and they
I'm
go,
sorry. I should. Yes, ma'am.
"Uh-oh."
Come on, girl. This is.
Oh, yeah, I was giving a workshop.
Yeah. Oh, you welcome. Oh,
What you mean? What you doing on this side of town? Oh. I'm like, what's she doing over here?
y'all be in town?